This is International Big Mega Radio Smasher. It's the Going Off podcast with rap critic and muse, and it is All Hallows Eve. Ooh. Obviously not when. Oh no! Obviously not when this goes live. It'll be November by then.
We're like the Simpsons. You know, Halloween's over when we say it's over, bitch.
Yo, I don't want to go into a whole big thing about it, but did you see the new Treehouse of Horror?
Oh no,
my dude! No!
After I saw that one clip where they were trying so hard, the flop sweat that was coming off of the fucking digital animated cartoon.
Okay,
somehow when they were trying to make fun of this motherfucker. Oh my god, I can't go back.
This wasn't much better. I haven't watched a full episode of The Simpsons in, it's safe to say, years. Like a newer one. I've went back and I've watched older ones, but not anything from the most recent.
The episode was good. That was the one.
I didn't see that one. This is episode 666. And for some reason, I thought they were past that by now, but no, apparently not. It's 666, and also happens to be the 30th Treehouse of Horrors. I think I might have seen 10 of them, maybe, and liked them.
Oh, wow.
Before I stopped watching.
There's next to 19 you haven't seen.
I just have no idea what the hell they even try to parody or anything. I couldn't even tell you what the last one was.
They've gotten everything by now. You know what I mean?
Well, watching this, you'd actually kind of be surprised. So, multiple times I had to make sure that I was watching this year's.
Why?
Because some of the references are just a little dated.
Oh,
guy.
You mean to tell me they came to maybe the year 2000 and they're like, we don't need to know any more pop culture after this?
How about it's 2019 and they're just now doing a Stranger Things parody?
Really? You really think they would have jumped on that?
They've had maybe 3-4 years. I'm not exactly sure how long the show's been on. They had that long to come up with a title of the segment, and they just called it Danger Things?
Huh.
Okay. There's more. There's more. Okay.
Yeah, because it's on third season now. Yeah, I'm remembering. Yeah.
How about also 2019, A Shape of Water parody?
Okay.
Yeah, where Patty...
this is 2017, isn't it?
Yeah, where you got Patty falling in love with Krang and or Kodos, the space aliens.
Okay.
You got that.
I guess they did it eventually, you know.
There was a third one. I'm not even sure I remember what it was. But yeah, I would say 2, maybe 3 genuine laughs for the entire 20 some odd minutes. Really, I've said before the writing's bad. The writing is bad. I'm still sticking to that opinion. But the editing and the pacing is by far the worst thing about the new Simpsons. They will just lay a horrible bomb, and then you're just like, oh no. And it just sticks there for a second. A second too long. And you're just like, oh, please, cut away. It's so cringy. They fucking make you stew in it. And it's like, come on, man. That was bad.
It's like The Simpsons is done by automation now, and all the jokes are just you know what I'm saying? Automotively written and stuff like that. So the editing is still kind of messed up, like those YouTube videos, that's done in India or something like that, where they're just trying to profit off of making baby videos or something like that. It's a similar thing.
I noticed something with YouTube, by the way. I don't know who else has noticed this. YouTube will randomly decide to blur out parts of a video. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't seen that.
So, I think it's completely auto-generated. I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it. But YouTube tries to discern what might be sensitive material.
Like nudity? Seriously?
Nudity, possible gore, I don't know. I've seen this in a few Funhouse videos. They're generally a Let's Play channel, but every so often they do some like Rule 34 searches and stuff like that. And they'll blur things on their own, but sometimes like 3/4 of the screen will just have like a giant blur over it, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like, it's not covering anything in particular. It sometimes just almost covers the whole screen.
You think they're like beta testing something?
Yeah, because it doesn't seem... It seems broken, and I think if they had something rolled out, we probably would have gotten an announcement about it.
Well, I think they're a little bit more trepidatious about telling people about the shitty plans they're putting forward from now on.
It's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission, is the new YouTube policy.
Basically, though.
Probably for the best. Here's a question for you. We've got 2 album reviews this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm anxious to hear what you've got to say about both of them. So, should we just flip a coin?
Oh, no. We got to start with clipping first. We got to start with clipping, you know, because the main course has got to be the Kanye album.
Who was I kidding? Of course. We got to save that 27-minute album, I guess, for the dessert.
Oh, yes, exactly.
It's a smaller portion, but, you know, it's like a filet mignon. It's small, but it's gotta come after the fucking hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, you're gonna take longer to chew through it. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's fucking tough. It is a tough chew. So what we've got in front of us here is an over an hour hors d'oeuvre in the form of "There Existed an Addiction to Blood" by Clipping.
The title was so weird. I was just like, is there some sort of like anagram that's happening?
It's,
you know what I mean?
One of those sleepers. It fucking explains itself over time.
Yeah.
So we've reviewed Clipping before. We did Splendor and Misery as a Patreon request. I'm surprised we didn't just do that one organically. But going back and listening to the review of that one, I think we both gave it 5s.
Oh.
And I honestly haven't gone back and listened to Splendor and Misery much since we did the review. I remember there being some highlights to it. I like the whole space theme.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember that one. Yeah, I was thinking about another album they did. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I absolutely love that album. The concept album, right?
And now we basically... It's not a concept, but it's an underlining theme we have of violence and horror. On Wikipedia, the album is actually categorized as horrorcore, and I don't know if I'd go that. I don't know if I'd go that far.
Especially with the song "The Haunting" followed by "La Mala Ordina." You know what I mean?
Maybe The Show.
Yeah. I think that like there's key points, but yeah, it's more experimental noise rap stuff than Gravediggers. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
not
this
like,
isn't fucking Gravediggers or goddamn ICP. Let's not go down that road. Darren, it's come to this. There existed an addiction to blood. What did you think?
You can only say that phrase as if, like, you're trying to do a Shakespearean, like, recitation. There existed an addiction to blood is the name of the album. Like, I just sound like I'm about to break into a prose, you know? Like, but,
there's gotta be more to that.
Yeah, exactly. But, okay, so the first words that came to my head when I was listening to this album was controlled minimalism.
Oh, okay.
And, so the first track I didn't really like as much because it was just like him rapping through this really badly recorded filter. And it was just like I understand, you know, stretching sound and doing all these weird things, but it's like, I just didn't enjoy that because it was just a simple, like it was just like filtered enough where it's just like, I just had to go like, wait, what did he say there? Wait, what did he say there? You know, like it's not distorted enough where it's like, oh, it's so crazy what's happening like later. It's like just enough where it's like, oh, what? Like he recorded it in a, styrofoam cup or some shit.
It does sound like it's being played on a tape recorder. You hear someone like click the off
Oh,
button.
that's true. I forgot about that.
The intro, yeah, it's more or less like, I mean, it definitely is an intro. It's not very much a standalone track. It paints the picture, sort of at least the atmospheric feel that you're going to be just sitting in for the rest of the album. You just hear like the wind in the background. You hear people walking. I wouldn't have thought it was this specifically, but Genius pointed out that it could have been the sounds of shovels scraping and digging. And it just sounds like, yeah, and in the midst of all this random clipping verse, this like a cappella.
It doesn't feel related to it. Like it again.
It's just
I think
there.
it was just hard to hear it anyway. So like it started off on a bad foot, but
Okay.
I actually really liked "Nothing Is Safe." So that just like flipped it on me, like, oh man, he's gonna be experimental and do all this crap that I can't fucking hear, and then Nothing Is Safe comes on, and I was like, oh, okay, never mind, all right, we're good. When you hear the boom, doom, 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 I'm like, okay, I'm here, I'm ready for this shit, and he just like starts laying out this rap, and his style is just like more, that Ghostface Killer type abstract rap sort of shit, but it's like if you listen, you can hear what he's actually talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did come with a problem or two with that later on down the line, but with this one was one of those, like, the atmosphere is perfect, the time is right, I'm riding with this shit, this should have been track number 1, goddammit,
They're setting this atmosphere and this tone, and I think the intro does that well, but throughout the album, there are these interludes that just kind of, like, pop in, and they're not always related. And again, all these are fine elements, I think, in their own,
right,
or on their own.
Like setting the tone or whatever,
Yeah, but overall, there isn't like, and I wish there was, a story that kind of weaves its way throughout, kind of like Splendor and Misery was a concept.
Well, yeah, like the perfect example is Haunting, where it's like very specifically this woman is talking about like these horrible things happened to me, and I was, a bat flew at my head, and this, that, and the third, and the next track is like, it's kind of about that, I guess, but like by the second verse, it's just kind of gangster rap shit, and it's cool as shit though, because I especially love the way the beat drops out when the second guy comes in, and you're just kind of like in this hazy place where you're not sure what's happening, because I feel like the beat kind of like jumps off for a second, and you're like, what the fuck? And then the beat like just slowly slams and hits, and then slowly comes back in again, and I'm like, oh shit, that was just fucking cool,
Yeah, Haunting is... And I'm going to guess this is like a real thing that exists. It's just audio of a woman talking about time she believes that she was haunted by Satan trying to kill her, and all these like series of hallucinations. And then the next track doesn't really have anything to do with that.
If the haunting would have been before he dead, that actually would have worked better, because that song was like really sparse and creepy.
Prophecy is just noises. It's like, it sounds like something may be burning. And then there's like growl noises, and then Run for Your Life doesn't really expand on that. But Possession, Interlude, and All in Your Head are like, that actually does work as a introduction to what All in Your Head is about, because All in Your Head is about like, we'll get to it, but it's about like a form of like being possessed, and it kind of builds off on that.
I didn't think about that until holy shit. Okay, that's actually pretty clever now that you say it. I never put that together.
I was gonna dog ear that page, but I mean, while we're fucking here, Possession is a movie sample of this person performing hypnosis and in turn possessing this woman through his words, reading this like incantation perhaps.
And it's so straight out of like a silly ass 50s horror movie.
Oh yeah, it absolutely reeks of that shit, but you know what? In like, this context, it works.
Yeah, like this woman's like, "Doctor, will you help me?" And he's like, "Yes, young child, rest is good for the blood." Like, yeah, of course you trust a guy like that. Like,
you trust a guy with some vaguely like Transylvanian accent. Come on, twirling his mustache. But All in Your Head is more or less a song about possessing someone through oral sex.
Oh, I thought it was about, like, pimping. Because, like, the woman in the middle of the verse is, like...
I think the first part kind of does talk about like eating pussy or like performing oral sex, whatever. And then the second part opens with like halfway through the alphabet, and that's kind of like a technique. You're supposed to like
true.
do the shapes of the letters, and then it's like halfway through the alphabet, you'll have her speaking like your thoughts and stuff like that, and like
all in your head. Okay, that's good.
And this album does do a lot of clever shit, but I think that was I wasn't expecting that. Speaking of unexpected, the outro of All in Your Head, where it's just a choir?
Okay, so this is what I was confused by, because it's like, alright, this song's about possession, and then, like, this woman's talking about how you need to pimp these bitches the right way, because if you do it wrong, then you're not a real pimp, and da-da-da, and I was like, where's this? I mean, this is cool, but where is this coming from?
It sounds like that fucking...
Hey, I wanna come, motherfucker!
Going back real quick to Nothing Is Safe, so we could just kind of... go through here. When you said controlled minimalism, I think that is personified very well in Nothing Is Safe, which kind of plays off this John Carpenter-esque Halloween film score. And even when you watch the music video, it's even modeled after the intro to the Halloween movie, where instead of a jack-o'-lantern with like a flame inside of it, it's like a trash can with like a fire inside it with the jack-o'-lantern face like carved into it. And I think throughout there are a lot of nods to different types of like horror movie genres, but not like Misfits. If anyone listening is like familiar with how like the Misfits were, like it was just straight up like, yeah, this is a song about The Fly. We're not referencing that shit, but we are lifting elements and kind of like weaving them through.
Story 7, where I was like halfway through, I was like, what's happening in this song? Like, I legit was trying to figure it out. And then I had to look at the annotation. It's like, BT Dubs, Cynthia is a wolf. And this whole time she's like, I'm like, what? Wait, where did the wolf thing come in?
It's like, oh, she's a werewolf, of course.
Yeah, exactly. The minimalism leads to a lot of creative ideas. One in particular, yeah, like you said, club down. Shut the club down.
Club down. Fuck! Club down!
At first, when he just said turn the lights off, we gonna shut the club down. I wasn't feeling it at first. I was like, oh, he's trying to go for the club hit. Like, what are you doing, man? You know? But then when it just, like, becomes this anti-club song with no beat underneath it, just like these weird scouring, just weird sounds, like, it was like this fucking album was, scored by, who's the dude who did the Dark Knight movies? Hans Zimmer.
It's loud and it's intense, but there's under the gritty layer of noise and something kind of resembling a beat. You just hear like screaming, and that's from the group 16 Bitch Pile Up.
What? 9 Inch Dicks and 60-inch pilot touring now with Shorty Shit Stain.
Run for Your Life.
Dude, my favorite goddamn track. Oh my god. I couldn't believe it. The way the fucking, we're talking about the same one, right? Where, like, at first it starts off and then, like, the beat drops out. And then, like, you figure, like, oh, is this gonna be the rest of the song? It's just gonna be rapping like this. And then you hear, like, a car go by, and there's, like, a beat playing in that car. And then, like, he starts rapping to that beat, and I was like, oh, shit! And then, like, that car passes, and then another car goes by. I was like, yo, what the fuck?
The beat is just made up of noises in the background, and, like,
so cool.
Guns shooting off, and dogs barking, and, like you said, music in passing by cars.
And he even switches up, like, the tempo of, like, his raps when the BPM is different. I love it.
I really liked the chorus and the you ain't scared, is you? I
you ain't scared, is it? I didn't like her voice at the beginning, but I liked her verse and her voice at the end. It's like she recorded a different version of the chorus later on.
I liked her interjections in the chorus. I hated that verse.
You didn't like her verse?
That verse is straight garbo, dude. It's like the most sub ICP level horrorcore lyrics. I just gotta pull it up real quick.
All right, yeah, let me look at it. Maybe I was tripping.
I couldn't believe how, like, this song set me up, especially with, like, how interesting it was and the way it was the producing with the noises and all of that. It was like one of the most unique hip hop songs I'd heard in a while. And then just this fucking
it is a little like, compared to what was happening before, it's like, oh, now we're just doing horrorcore. Yeah, you're right.
It's LeChat, the killer, the murderer, the bitch they love to hate. Yeah, you tried to run, but I caught you. You know it's no escape. Burn up both your legs, split your head. But yeah, your mouth alright. Throw your garbage ass in the dumpster, and now shit on your grave.
Yeah.
Blood, I'm so addicted to blood, I'm cutting your body up. And it's like, ugh. Nothing, like, creative or, like, interesting to any of the words here. It's just basic-ass horrorcore shit.
Burn up both your legs, split your head, but yeah, your mouth all right? What? Is she leaving the mouth?
Yeah, I guess. That's what I got from that.
It's like, I don't know, your mouth looks really good. I was going to do something to it, but...
How about Drama Queen? I'm bringing the drama. Don't fuck with me. I'll hunt you. Cut you up like meat. Take your kids. A very tasty luncheon.
Dude, I forgot.
Ugh. Boo. And I hate it because they really did just like, this was gearing up to be my favorite song on the album. And then it ended up being maybe my least favorite because of that.
Really?
Actually, no, it's not my least favorite, but we'll get to that. The show following Run for Your Life, I thought was another one of the a little weaker tracks, in my opinion.
Me too. I didn't like how, like, it was, you know, interesting at first to hear, like, what the beat's doing, but the fact that it never really goes beyond that. Like, you hear the boom, and, like, you know, I don't know, like, the industrial just, like, sounding like you're hammering in a, you know, factory. Like, it's just not that cool of a sound to me, you know? Like, Nine Inch Nails couldn't get me into it, and he's not going to either. You know what I mean? But it's like, but there's a little flip, because, like, after every time he does that, it sounds like someone's, like, you know, tapping their fingers on, like, a light bulb or something like that. And I'm like, that sounds kind of cool when you're like, boom, ting, and then it's like, okay, but then, like, it's just not that interesting of a song altogether, and it again does the sort of, like, breaking apart into just noise thing, except this time it's just, like, annoying, you know?
Blood on the Fang.
Blood on the Fang I actually really liked.
That might be tied for my favorite song on the album. Shit, I don't know. It's really fucking good.
Specifically, when he got to that one part, you know, again, up to this point, there's been, like, you know, horrorcore elements with mostly, like, abstract, you know, weird sort of stuff. Then he just, like, cuts the bullshit and just says, like, Queen Angela done told y'all, grasp at the root. So what y'all talking about? Hands up, don't shoot. I was like, oh, fucking revolutionary talk over here.
Yeah, this was the track that just straight up addresses police brutality and white supremacy in a much more in-your-face approach than I've heard. Even some more of the more political rappers we've talked about. Brother Malcolm done told y'all by any means. So what you talking about all on the same team?
I was like, oh, like it's getting more incendiary the more the song goes on.
It's weird. It managed to be one of the more political, more in your face, but it ended up being one of the catchiest overall.
I love the little sample in the background. There existed an addiction to blood.
Blood. Oh,
that was crazy.
The way they use that shit, it worked so well.
Oh my god. That's my favorite track.
My favorites overall are Blood of the Fang, Club Down, and Nothing Is Safe. I think those are the three strongest.
Highlights. Yes, absolutely.
Story 7, something we didn't mention, but no two songs on this album are really, I was going to say the same, but they're not even like, they're not even similar. Like, the fucking cadence on Story 7, I can't read the lyrics and imitate it because I honestly don't remember.
It was
because
like
it's so
15-8
choppy.
or some shit.
It's so fucking choppy, and like it keeps changing, and it's like never to the same beat. It's like, oh fuck, all right. I was just gonna talk about the catchiest track on the whole album, Piano Burning.
Oh yeah, weren't you tapping your toe?
Look, so it's 18 solid ass minutes of a piano burning. Literally a piano burning, to where you hear the strings snapping and striking, and like, yeah, sounds cool. I don't know what it's doing here.
Literally, I wrote down, this is an interesting concept. I don't want to listen to it.
Not for 18 minutes. Like, if this was like one of those minute to minute and a half interludes throughout the album, that's fine. 18 minutes, though. The only thing I can say is I'm glad you left it for the end so I could skip it.
Yeah, it's like, you can't have expected anyone to listen to this. Could you?
I'll just shut the album off after Story 7. We can call it a day. We're good.
You know, it's funny. So in the Genius annotation, it said, the instructions from the original piece, because this is taken from like a classical music piece.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Set an upright piano in an open space with the lid closed. Spill a little lighter fluid on a twist of paper and place inside near the pedals. Light it. And balloons may be stapled to the piano. Like, I love that that's an instruction. But the final...
just in case you're feeling frisky.
Yeah, exactly. And the final instruction is, play whatever pleases you for as long as you can. I love that.
For as long as you can.
And that's the thing that annoyed me, though. It's like, there was no commitment to the bit. Why wasn't he playing something on the piano?
Yeah, he didn't even try. Just, nope, too hot, too scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Flames got too high, too quick. Couldn't play anything.
Fuck this. So, overall, what would you give it?
My official rating fell somewhere between a 4 and a 4.5. I'm going to go ahead and give it the 4.5. The only shortcomings for me were the Lachette verse in Run For Your Life. The show wasn't as strong of a track as some of the other ones, especially given how violent and, it was trying to be very shocking. And Attunement just as a underwhelming outro, but the rest is a strong recommendation. I fucking bought it on Bandcamp like soon as I listened to it. As soon as I finished, I'm awaiting a physical copy in the mail as we speak.
I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, like the songs that, like, again, when I wrote down, this is an interesting concept, I don't want to listen to it. I don't feel that way about the whole album, because, like when I first came into it, I was like, oh yeah, this is Cliffy, the guys that are really experimental, and when I came to the piano part, that's when I thought of that, but it was like, and I could see other parts of this album where I'm like, it's interesting that you did that, but I don't really want to listen to Static, I'm sorry. Like, I just don't. Like, I don't need to, you know what I mean?
Obviously, we need to save all the energy for the album that I'm sure you no doubt enjoyed way more.
Tell us what you came to see, people.
Oh, yeah. Again, for reference, I went back and I listened to our review of Ye.
Oh, me too. Yeah. Because I was thinking, like, are we being a little... could we possibly have a little bias in our system, right?
I thought the same damn thing, Darren, and I wanted to make sure we, respectively, you gave Ye a 3.5 ultimately, and I ended up giving it a motherfucking 4.
I was surprised. I was like, oh.
I gave Ye a 4. And I haven't even gone back and re-listened to that album since. What am I doing? I obviously liked it.
So I'm thinking like, oh, okay. So like, yeah, all right, let me go into this. Sure, he's doing the Christian thing, and there's a lot of awkwardness that's around, like, not even his public persona as far as everyone knows, but as far as, like, the creation of this album in particular. Like, there was some shit about, like, he asked that the people creating the album didn't have sex while he was making it.
Premarital sex specifically, yes.
What type of fucking shit is that?
I'm gonna let the audience speculate whether or not Kanye is being 100% genuine with this, but there are some aspects. The hey, nobody have premarital sex working on my album, to I'm gonna have a song that is essentially a commercial for Chick-fil-A.
Oh my god.
I get the impression that Kanye like wants to pander, but he doesn't know how. What would someone making a Christian album in 2019 do? No premarital sex, right? That makes sense. You gotta shout out Chick-fil-A. Like, did he consult with anybody?
Yeah, exactly. This album legit feels like he was in church when he was younger, and then he left, and like 20 years later, like, this is kind of like what Christianity is like, right?
It's like, I mean, I guess. Fuck.
Okay, so let's fucking get into it. Cause
I got a question for you. With all the hype and build-up, did you end up disliking this album as much as you thought you would?
I ended up disliking this album a lot more than I thought I would. Like, a lot more. Like, I listened back to, not only our review of, Ye, but also our review of, what was the one before that one? The Life of Pablo. And we actually rated that one lower. We rated that one like a 1.5 or maybe a 2.
I have My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I think I might have College Dropout on there.
Yeah, who doesn't, you know?
I never settled down and got Yeezus, even though there are songs on there that I do enjoy and would like to revisit from time to time. I don't think I ever want to listen to Life of Pablo ever again, though.
Yeah, I remember
good.
My biggest complaint was that it's like, any of the songs that I do like, it feels like he always does something that ruins the enjoyment of it. And there were like
you can't like it 100%.
Yeah, and there were these dumb skits in it. Now, with this album, no skits, 27 minutes, clean, short album.
Gonads.
Exactly. But, oh my lord, is this a bad fucking album? So, track 1, we get, now, and, I want to come to this, legit with y'all, I grew up, Christian and what have you, I still have my, I'm still part of the faith, but I have my own, perennialist leanings, you know what I'm saying, I won't necessarily get into it, but the point is, I know a little bit about, Christianity and all this fun stuff that he's gonna get to. And it's like, I was thinking going into this album, okay, what's he gonna do? How's he gonna wrestle with it? Nah, he's not. It's just a fucking plain-ass, milquetoast-ass fucking Christian rap album telling you that you should love the Lord, and with no nuance, no, like, specificity, no stories, nothing intricate. Like, okay, you remember the song, How Much a Dollar Cost on Kendrick Lamar's fucking album?
Yeah.
That is, to me, the measure by which all other Christian rap songs have to be measured. Remember how the Life of Pablo album started with, ultralight beam, we're on an ultralight beam, Jesus, get the fucking choir singing, and holy Jesus, Lord, and all in the, glory, glory, hallelujah. And then the first track is, if I get bleach on my t-shirt, and I fuck this girl who's a model, and she's got bleach on her ass, and if I fuck her, I'm gonna get bleach on my shirt. Are you fucking serious?
I'ma feel like an asshole.
Now, this album doesn't do that necessarily, but it's basically the same setup. Like, the very first song, and again, I want to say, like, as someone who, knows a bit about Christianity, you know what I'm saying? Knows a bit about, choir music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually went to school, like, to learn about music and shit, and part of what we do is, like, choir music. You know what I mean? So, like, I know what sounds dope, what sounds creative and fun, hearing it. You know what I'm saying? Hearing how people have done choir music in a way that's interesting. This is in no way interesting. Track 1 is absolutely a 0. It's just, like, generic ass fucking, we praise his name and God and glory, and it's just like, no creativity, no creative musical lines, nothing. It is a boring fucking intro. Like, they might as well have just played the fucking hallelujah, hallelujah on track 2 that goes on for a goddamn minute and a half. They say hallelujah 40 fucking times on that track, and it's like you're hearing it. As you're hearing it, you're just like, hallelujah, hallelujah, and you're like, oh snap, really intense. And by the 30th hallelujah, you're like, okay, is Is the record fucking skipping? Like, what the fuck is happening?
How is this happening on an MP3? I'm confused.
Like, halfway, it's like, it almost sounds like a troll record, but it doesn't commit enough to it, you know? And like, right at the end, like, the final hallelujah where it does the, like, where it gets really cool, I was like, oh shit, here we go! But I still had to wait way too long for it, so it doesn't, I'm really not feeling it right at this point.
Yes, it wasn't fucking worth it, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
I ended up liking the album more than I thought I was going to.
Alright.
Not by much.
Oh my.
Okay,
this is an abomination, bro.
Here's what I did like.
Okay.
Some really dope beats on here.
Oh, okay, see, alright.
Follow God, On God, Everything We Need.
See, this is, yeah.
Water has a good one.
Yeah,
like,
Water does have a good beat.
Fucking really, the production on here is pretty damn good. The only song on the album that I would potentially listen to again is Follow God, the third track.
Not even that one, bro. What? How does that one go? Let me get it just to be sure if it's the one I think it is. Oh my God, life like. What is what your life like? Tell me what your life like. If you ain't Christ like, every living life like. In a single night right, when up with the night light, and I'm feeling Christ like. Is I'm feeling like Mike? What's your life like? Oh my fucking God! Shut the fuck up, Kanye. Shut the fuck up.
You know that ain't Christ-like.
Dude, oh my God. I was so annoyed. I was just like, what is he doing? What is he doing?
I think if that song, and I know what you're going to say, if that song was a little longer, and it had maybe some time to flesh itself out.
Anything else happening other than the, I feel like, Mike, tell me what your life like. Feeling like Excite Bike?
Oh, yeah, he fucking references a goddamn Nintendo video game for some reason.
He's riding on a white bike, feeling like Excite Bike.
White bike, Excite Bike, yeah, not his strongest rhyme. I don't know if it's better or worse than Closed on Sunday, You My Chick-fil-A.
Horrible.
You My number one with the lemonade.
Fucking
Darren!
atrocious. What the fuck are you talking about? Closed on Sunday, you're my chick. Who is closed on Sunday? Who are you talking about?
What does that mean?
Yeah, because he's saying closed on Sunday, you're my Chick-fil-A. Who are you talking about? Who is emotionally closed off to you on one specific day? Like what? Like, and so like I'm forced to think the only reason you did that was because haha, clever tie-in. Get it? I'm Christian, so Chick-fil-A.
I fucking looked up video of his Sunday service performance where he brought out clips, and we'll get to clips, and he brought out Kenny G, and we'll get to Kenny G. And there's this whole thing, and it fucking opened up with this epic in-your-face choir, and they're just singing their fucking hearts out.
Ooh,
and then
you feel the spirit of the Lord.
And then, like, not even a beat after they're jumping, they're giving it their all. Closed on Sunday. You my Chick-fil-A. Like, you opened with Closed on Sunday?
And like,
Kanye, come on!
And dude, the beat in the background, you couldn't find a more fucking solemn, quiet, chilled out. Ooh,
oh yeah.
Ooh.
No.
And so like, you know what I'm saying? The beat work is there, but he's like, fuck it. It feels like someone halfway through is like his cousin came through and just like joked on the album that he was supposed to do. Like, no, this is supposed to be the Lord's album. What are you doing talking about Chick-fil-A? It's the Lord's favorite restaurant, isn't it? Like, what are you doing? Except it's actually just him. And you're like, why are you ruining your own album? Nobody ever tell you when you're being like Christ. Only ever seeing me when they needin' me. Like if Tyler Perry made a movie for BET? Huh? What? They only ever see me when they're needing me. Like if Tyler Perry made a movie for BET?
Only see me. It feels like a riddle. Only see me when you need me. Okay, so only want you around when they feel like they can get something out of you. Okay, so he's saying
Yeah.
that's like
If
like-
Tyler
like-
Perry...
like BET doesn't want to have anything to do with Tyler Perry unless he's like making a movie for them. But I don't think he's like. I think people hold him in pretty high regard these days, don't they, Tyler Perry?
I figure BET would probably want to work with Tyler Perry, right?
Well,
That's a pretty big
sure,
gig.
but Tyler Perry isn't about to. He just fucking opened up his own goddamn movie studio. Like, he's a busy man. Do you think Tyler Perry is going to lower himself to the standards of made-for-TV movie? Like, I think that's the point, but...
So what he's trying to say is, they're only seeing me if they need me, in the same way that if Tyler... Because he wouldn't make a movie for BET, right?
Yeah, no, of course not. No.
Yeah, that... Okay.
I mean, I'm
think
trying.
I got what this man.
I'm trying, dude.
I fucking think I got what that man.
Like, I heard it, and it didn't raise a red flag for me. I was like, I think I get that. I'm gonna let it live.
See, this is the problem right here. It's you and all these interviewers who interview Kanye who just gotta go like, I don't know what it is, but yeah. Like, remember that fucking interview where I think JPEG Mafia sampled it, where it's like someone's interviewing him and he's like, yeah, we used to make music back in the day. We made JPEGs, you know?
Yeah, I had to sample that in the intro. Yeah, it goes, I was like, they were saying we didn't go to school. We went to school, all right. We was making JPEGs. I'm sorry. Charlemagne the God didn't just stop him right there when he said that in his empty ass house and say, "Excuse me, what?
Yeah.
You were so what? You were just like in Microsoft Paint and you were just making JPEGs? What does that mean?
At school? Is this a metaphor?
You
What
were
are
on
you
your
talking
school
about?
computer in the library and you were making JPEGs? Explain that for me, Kanye. But no,
Was that a class?
he's just sitting there smiling along because he gets the scoop. He gets the exclusive half-hour interview with Kanye. So he's not gonna do the fucking sway interview. Fucking actually trying to throw some shit back at him. No. This is a new day. It's a new Kanye. Everyone's afraid to say anything. It's like no one wants to say anything to Trump because they don't want to lose the access, right? Like, I don't want to get my press pass.
See what happened
revoked.
to Sway, I think.
Right, maybe. Like, I want to be in good with the man so I can maybe get an interview with him later. So no one wants to push any of those buttons that might piss him off too much. So everyone's just kind of letting him get away with whatever nonsense he wants to say, and they'll keep reporting it because they know it's going to get clicks, and it perpetuates a horrible cycle that keeps this fool relevant, which should stop, but won't stop, can't stop.
Like, take that.
Now, with On God, he's going to put it on God. One line.
Again, one goddamn rhyme for the whole fucking song. Really, bro?
I want to run this by you. I want to run it back. That's why I charge the prices that I charge. What? I can't be out here dancing with the stars. No, I cannot let my family starve. Because that's something Kanye's worried about, I guess. That's something Kanye and Kim Kardashian
keeps him
West...
up at night. Keeps him up at night.
Oh, whew. I'm so worried, Charlemagne. Remember when I told that story about how someone pulled a gun on Kim and oh my gosh, it just ruined me. It's like, okay, I get that because you want to protect her. You just said that by the grace of God, you were given what? $60 million in taxes?
Yeah, $68
because you were
million.
born again Christian. But meanwhile, that's why, in spite of that, I gotta sell these pair of Sunday service socks for like $40 fucking dollars.
Have to.
Because I can't. I refuse to let my family starve.
How'd you get so much favor on your side, Kanye? Accept him as your Lord and Savior, I replied. Dude, this is so up its own fucking ass. No one would listen to this if this was a normal Christian rapper.
God,
no one would be tolerating this. Everyone would be like, oh, wow, yeah, I don't want to hear that shit. There's a fucking lyric on here. Hold on a second. Let's get into it. There's a lyric on here where fucking cool-ass Kanye...
Kanye cool.
He says fucking, hey kids, put down the Instagram and hold hands with your family and pray. Put down the gram, you kids. Always on the Instagram. Pull your pants up while you're at it.
Oh no, he's going full Cosby. Oh no.
What the fuck is this, man? He went fucking full MC goddamn Hammer.
Oh no. He's got to pray just to make it today. That's why he's charging $40 for socks.
I can't believe that. There's no way. I haven't seen anyone's review of this, but I'm like, there's no way people are feeling this. What's the... oh my god. The first lyric from the song, Salah, right? We haven't heard a lyric from him yet, right? Because the first song is completely this choir.
It's just the Sunday service choir, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like... It's okay. We didn't even talk about this, but this is why I hate every hour. And like on its own, it's whatever. It's not really hurting anyone. But what I hate about it is that you can tell it's like this weird snippet of what's clearly a bigger piece.
Oh yeah.
Randomly selected.
Yeah.
Placed here to open the album for some reason, and it's gotta be. There's this weird effect on it that makes it sound like warbled.
Like it's slightly sped up or something? Did you get that too?
There's something uncanny about it that makes it unlistenable. And otherwise, it would have been a decent opening track, I guess. But then what do you have is the other option. Jesus is Lord. Where again, it's like 30 seconds maybe?
Dude, that pissed me off the most. The last track, that one pissed me off because I thought that was the best production on the whole fucking album.
That you started potential.
You started to hear the fucking old school, the chill ass trumpets that Kanye used on the first album.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like, yo, if this was on a good album, this would be the part where it's like, oh shit, you guys are feeling the Spirit of the Lord right now, and I would be on board with it, even though I didn't like what came before it. Fuck it, I'm feeling this, and then not even like 40 seconds, and he just like cuts it off, and I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, you just teased me with an actual good song, and he was like, fuck you. What in the world?
On one hand, he's saying, hey, you thought you were excited for Yandi, but then Jesus Christ did the laundry.
And the thing is, that album isn't even coming out, so he's just referencing something.
He scrapped Yandi, perhaps in favor of this, and then he has the nerve to, on the album he's giving you, he decided that was fit for release. On the last track of the album, tease you like the bastard he really is. Decides to give you a half minute of what could have been the best song on the album.
Honestly.
And then just cuts it off. Why? Why, if not to be a dick?
Right? It feels like there's an album he's hiding from us.
What other reason could he possibly have for doing that? There's no logical excuse for that. The horns were phenomenal. It sounded so fucking good. And if you maybe put this 30-second thing as the intro, it wouldn't be so bad. Because it's like, yeah, okay, it's the intro, it's whatever. But you saved
you'll forget it by the end. Yeah, the thing I'm going to remember the most is that you started making a good song. Oh. After all of this shit, you started making a good song and then stopped.
Make me so mad, Kanye. You make me so mad.
I just want to quote the first lyric you hear, again, because we got sidetracked.
Oh, right, yes.
Kanye's turned over a new leaf. He's living for God. The personality you knew before is no more. Kanye is a different man. In fact, later on in the album, he talks about, he opines about, when I said I was making a Christian album, what did the Christians say, huh? Oh, they were the first ones to turn their nose up at me. Oh, I bet they're kicking themselves now from this beautiful piece of Christian music that brings people into the way of the Lord with these wonderful lyrics that I would like to recitate. When I get to heaven's gates, I don't have to peek over. Keeping perfect composure. When I scream at the chauffeur, I ain't mean, I'm just focused. I ain't mean, I'm just focused. Welcome to the new God-loving Kanye, who is so much nicer. And is like, what the fuck is that? Like, the first thing you hear is, nope, Kanye absolutely has not changed and is probably still very much on edge. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? Like, it just completely subverts anything in the first 10 seconds. And I'm just sitting here like, again, I'm like, it's like a joke album, but the joke didn't really happen. You know what I mean? Oh, I couldn't believe it when I heard it. The very first lyrics, like, obviously showcasing why you are not a person who should be making an album like this. Like, again, I say to you, if any other Christian, if fucking Lecrae started off his album saying, I don't need to peek over heaven's gates because I know I'm getting in, no one would fucking listen to this guy. But I guess it's Kanye, so it's like, oh, but he's such a, you expect him to be a pig-headed asshole. It's like, okay, but, like, you still don't have, like, if there was that pig-headedness, but at least there was a fucking message, but you don't even fucking get that. I think, like, one point there's a lyric where he says, in Luke, chapter 15, it says, be good to your neighbor. There's like one fucking lyric where he references the Bible, and that's fucking it. And all the other references are like things that are like tangential. Again, like the Christianity on this album feels like fucking window dressing. Like it's just like, oh yeah, you should follow God. And I was arguing with my dad and he said that's not Christ-like. And what's the fucking thing he says at the end of the song? It's just stupid. Like it doesn't mean anything. I woke up this morning, I said my prayers, I'm all doing good. I tried to talk to my dad, I tried to give him some advice. He starts spazzing on me. I start spazzing back. He said that ain't Christ-like. I said, ah! What the fuck does that mean? Who gives a shit that you were talking with your dad and you were trying to give him advice? First of all, you already sound like an asshole here. I was trying to give my dad advice. Oh yeah, the older guy needs advice from you, Kanye. You know what I mean?
When I calmly but sternly demand my damn croissants, I'm not mean. I'm just focused. I'm not mean!
Exactly!
I'm just focused!
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the guy I want to follow. Yeah, like I said,
sign me up.
Feels like he's trying to tell you something, and he just can never really do it, because I remember there was like one point where he said like, he actually like hadn't read that much of the Bible. And it was like, he was doing all these Sunday church services, and that was what that whole spazzing out on his dad was about. His dad was apparently telling him like, wait, how you gonna have Sunday service and no gospel? And it's just like, yeah, that's a really good fucking question. And like, you know what, fuck it. If I remember I was talking to a friend about this, like, if you want to do your own new age, like, thing, like, do that thing. But don't try to attach it to this religion that you obviously aren't looking that deeply into. Because you just seem like you're exploiting it. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the biggest criticisms I've seen, is that it just kind of comes off like he is just using this, almost, and I'm pretty sure we've compared Kanye to Eric Cartman at least once. It feels like we had to have by now. Like when Cartman was like, hey, I'm gonna start a fucking Christian rock group.
Yeah!
And
Kanye fucking faith plus one head ass. With his earlier albums, I remember like also having this feeling of like, he's talking about how like, I'm talking to God, and this album is me having a conversation with God, all this sort of stuff. But it's just like, It just sounds like you want to be God and you want to be that powerful, like you have a literal song saying, I am a God, hurry up with my damn croissants. It feels like he does not come to this religion because he wants to, be a better person, a more humble person. He wants to see how he can help people, spiritually or anything like that. It doesn't feel like there's any of that there. It just feels like you said, oh, God's like really big, so I'm gonna be on God's side because he's the winner, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like, he really does feel like a child, against all this religious shit. Again, I feel like the fucking, he's the kid at the beginning of his, Life of Pablo album, where the kid's just saying, yes, Lord, we need the Lord, 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 Lord.
Oh my God,
That kid doesn't know what he's really saying,
Yeah.
And that's what this feels like. Fucking everything we need. An example of his tone deafness, right? This phrase is supposed to be about how, we don't have all the comforts and trappings of life, but as long as we have the tools God has given us this day, we'll be all right. That's real easy to say as a bunch of rich guys saying we have everything we need. Yeah, it just doesn't resound as well. You know what I mean? Like, rich dudes say, we have, no duh, you got a fucking studio in Wyoming. Of course you have everything you need. You get fucking God is. I remember I wrote, best song on the album. But his voice is so bad.
Oh, his singing voice
Kanye.
can fuck right off.
Here particularly, it sounds like he just got off stage or some shit. And he's about to lose his voice. And it doesn't sound like that cool sort of impassioned, oh, he's just so into it like a preacher. It sounds like, no, dude, you need to have a drink of water and sit down.
He sounds fucking rough here. Yeah.
He sounds awful. And the thing about it is, the production sounds so clean against it, so it just feels like he's rapping over some, production that's not mastered. Like his voice is not mastered, and he's rapping over this, completely already finished product. You know what I mean? So it just feels like, what the fuck is going on?
I think it might have been... Was it on our last review that Clips showed up?
Oh, I forgot about Clips! Yo! Reunited!
It feels so good?
And it feels okay? Let's get into it. Use this gospel, which, again, I think is kind of funny, because he actually doesn't know that really Bible verses, because remember, he doesn't read books. He doesn't need books. Remember that? Remember when he said that? He doesn't need books? He doesn't like reading books or some shit? And the only book he's writing is his autobiography on Twitter or some dumb shit. Hey, Muse, cut out all the lights, cause he's the light. Huh? You like that? You like that? Isn't that so clever?
Oh, cause all of the lights.
We get called halfway believers because we only halfway read Ephesians. And the funny thing is, you find out, it's just but you actually haven't read that much. You said you didn't. So you can do it at any time. And there's one interview where he said some shit about again, going back to arguing with his dad, where he's like, I was arguing with my dad, and I was like, oh man, I can't have a church without the gospel. Man, you know how much stuff I had to Google now just because of that? And, the interview was like, what? Do you not know the Bible's available online? The way he's saying it is all this stuff I had to Google. And this is what he said in particular. After all that, he goes, after the interviewer laughs, and he goes I don't even think Google has all of it on there anyway, so, and it's just wait, does he not think the Bible is online?
Back when I thought the Book of Job was a job.
He thought he was so fucking clever.
Oh,
he saw that it's spelled, he's like, I got it, you guys.
I gotta say that one. Again, is there no one to tell him no? Ever.
No, he'll scream at them. You heard? He's not mean, he's focused.
Somebody stop this man.
And I was looking at Hands On, now that you bring up Hands On, I wrote down the name Tech9, and I remember why. It's because this song is very much a, told people God was my mission. What have you been hearing from the Christians? They'll be the first ones to judge me. Make it feel like nobody loves me.
This is the goddamn... I saw this brought up in the Some More News video on cancel culture, where it was... I think it was the roast of Alec Baldwin, where Adam Carolla of The Man Show fame takes the stage, and he just goes, I know there's gonna be a lot of SJWs on Twitter
fuck's-
tomorrow gonna be complaining and they don't know. And there was like none, because people understand what a roast is, and it was like I'm expecting the same backlash from the Christians, and they're not gonna be there for me. It's like, why don't you think that? Like, why do you believe that so strongly? I'm making up this narrative that, like, it's like the painting myself to be the victim in the situation before the album even drops of, I know they're gonna turn their backs on me after this, and then you look at it, and no, actually a lot of them are kind of embracing it.
What gets embraced is that sort of woe is me narrative, right? Like, because now the Christians listening to the song, oh, but look who's really on them, all those people, oh, see, Kanye, coming to the fold, see, we'll accept you. See, we don't care if you're deceitful as long as you're on our side. And I'm not saying that of all Christians. I am saying that, though, of the fucking, you ever see that Netflix series that was about, like, the family and talking about, like, certain sects of Christianity that just happen to be in high levels of positions of power, how they interpret, the Bible?
I was just gonna say what I sent you earlier, where Donald Trump Jr.
Oh my
tweeted,
God.
and was
what
like,
was that even about? It's like,
I know the
motherfucker,
left
did
is
you even
gonna...
listen?
The left are gonna... No!
Did you even listen to this album, bro? Like, what? It's about family and the...
That's my favorite fucking thing, because it was back when Kanye was embracing Candace Owens, and Candace Owens had to act like she was a big fuck Kanye fan, when none of these people give a shit about you. And they won't a week from now.
But again, their idea is, well, he's on our side, so fuck it. Like, that's legit how they look at it. It's just like, yeah, but the other side's worse. So even though this guy's a hypocrite and deceitful, but he's our hypocrite and deceitful guy, so we can use him for us, so fuck it. Because there's no one is really grappling with what he's talking about. And most of it is just talking about how you should feel bad for him, but also follow him because he's so great. He's so good for doing this in the first place, for even deciding to make a Christian album. Shouldn't you just fall on your fucking knees and just be so happy he decided to? And again, like this song where he's saying like all this woe with me shit. I'm not saying I think any topic can be done well, right? And I wrote down Tech Nine because he had a song called Holier Than Thou. And that song was specifically about how, like, he was trying to get, like, a Christian rapper on the song. And he was like, we're actually reaching out to, like, Christian artists to try to, because, like, we do feel like we're fallen people. We may not be the best Christians, but we're, like, trying, like, we're trying to reach out to guys like you and, hear what you had to say, because it's like, I mean, he said something about, like, on the road, it's really hard to be a God, like, to follow the word of God, to stay faithful to your wife, things like that. And so it's like, okay, I get it. And then what happened was, what he said was like, somebody didn't get back to him. It was like some rapper named The Truth, a Christian rapper named The Truth. And one of his publicists, like, didn't like Tech Nine, and so didn't fucking, complete the deal or whatever. And so he was just like, this is real fucked up. Like, we were trying to reach out to you as people who were trying to find God, and you dissed us. And it's like, and so basically he was saying this is like, you think you're holier than us, but who's really holy? And the way it was laid out was really cool because it was telling you the case. This is this preempting assumption that people are gonna be so down on him, and it's going like, and it's just so like, and just the fact that it gets repeated, like, what you been hearing from the Christians, huh? It's like, shut the fuck up. Because he said he's not gonna curse. He said like, that was the big thing. No cursing on the album. Oh, okay, now it's good. Dude, fuck him. Fuck you if you think the extent of loving God and doing the service of God is not saying a bad word. Fuck out of here! Like, what does the bad word mean? What is the context of that word? Because that's what I'm saying. Fuck. I don't give a shit. But I'm saying the other F word. What's the context of that? Am I saying that towards someone? Is that me? Like, look at context instead of these fucking, again, these signifiers of what Christianity is. Ooh, I didn't put cursing on the album. Ooh, I told people to not have premarital sex. Okay, so the fuck what? What about the fact that you're this multi-millionaire who's telling us that we should follow God and do all these things while you hold on to your money and do nothing with it? What about about that, Kanye. You know? It's like, let's fucking, because if you want to talk, like, let's fucking have this discussion, but he obviously doesn't. He just wants to be patted on the back for doing the ultimate good thing and following God. Which, again, is just like, he didn't get the strong man out of Trump, so he's just switching over to something else. You know what I'm saying? And it's so, like, as you say that, like, even if he's being as honest as he can, like, because he's not engaging with it in a way that is very obvious to see, it comes off like he might be being deceitful, because you obviously don't give enough of his shit to really dig into this shit.
What did you give this album?
Oh, my lord. I gave it a 1. Fuck, we forgot to talk about Use This Gospel.
Oh, we didn't talk about fucking Kenny G and his random ass sax solo.
I'm not gonna lie though, I liked it.
I mean, it's fine. Yeah,
It was
Kenny
nice.
G's sax solo by any other name, that's fine. But the placement is just weird.
And you know, I do believe Use This Gospel was one of the best songs, specifically because Kanye is not rapping on it. But the rapping isn't necessarily, like, it's better. It's definitely better. But it's still not really, like, about God for most of it. Like, Pusha T starts off talking about how, there's one part where he talks about his brother and it's like, hey man, you know, I'm happy we made it. And it sounds like he's actually like motioning to his brother at that moment, like, yo dude, I'm happy you're here. I was like, oh, that was a good, like, you know, revelous moment. But it's like the first verse is like, how could he not be the greatest? In my bed undercovers when undercovers had raided. What? How could God not be incredible? I hid under my covers when the police came looking for me.
No Malice was basically, his verse was like talking about the, you know, I wasn't doing so good, you know. Like that at least was more on message.
Muse, that was the best verse in the entire fucking album. Because, again, he says, a lot of damaged souls, I done damaged those. And in my arrogance, I took a camera pose. And in that moment, you hear the idea of him saying, like, like, the disgust with himself. How fucking dare I, like, take pride in the shitty things I did. That was a good fucking, that made me feel a journey. Going back to the song fucking Jesus Walks. That's the big, like, song that, you know, makes people go like, oh yeah, you know, that Kanye, you know, he loves God in some capacity, right? But the reason why that song works is because the message of that song is like, I need Jesus, not you need Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot less pretentious when you're saying, like, oh man, I'm just trying to say the way school need teachers, the way Kathy Lee needed Regis, that's the way I need Jesus. You know, it's just like, it's sort of like I'm going through a struggle. In this song, he's talking about, like, I was a fucked up bad person and I'm trying to do better. That works. Everything else just sounds like shit. And it's just like, as a guy who already made that song, you'd think you'd know how a song like this should work. And all these songs just sound fucking half-assed. So yes, a fucking 1 out of 5, and I don't want to fucking hear the goddamn more of it for what it would say. Cause like, what the, who's, I mean, you know what, fuck it. Y'all join this goddamn cult if you fucking want to. But no thank you.
Earlier when I said I didn't hate it as much, I mean, I got a 2. It's not much higher.
Cause I could see you know, the production. The production is definitely fucking dope, right?
In my opinion, the strongest tracks, and I'll give my reasons because I know you'll take issue with Salah. I'm
on a white bike feeling like a sight bite. Was that the one?
I was a fan to hear the Yeezus intensity in Kanye's voice. If the Hallelujah part didn't go on for way too long, again with another weird effect on it that made it just sound, I don't know what, like slightly distorted, like you said, maybe sped up a little bit. There's something going on there. Follow God, hands down, in my opinion, the best track on the album. On God, Everything We Need, Use This Gospel, and Jesus is Lord. Kind of middle of the road ratings, but I thought they were, you know, at least in comparison, stronger than the weaker songs on the album, which were God Is, Hands On, Closed on Sunday, and just the kind of overall pointless Every Hour.
I legit, like, you know, I do the first 5 songs, and if, you know, I give them all zeros, like, I don't fuck with it anymore. Like, so I think the third song got like a 2, And like the first 5 songs other than that were like all zeros. It's just like, this isn't enjoyable. Closed on fucking Sunday. Man, I'm just not feeling this shit.
I saw a lot of people saying when Close on Sunday popped up that was when they fucking hit stop. Like that was the, I think I've given this enough of my time. Yeah. And you know what? I don't blame them. Close on Sunday that's a potential career ruiner.
Honestly.
Like, hang it up, dude.
What are you... Like, it's a fucking novelty song. Like, it's not
really
like, oh,
is.
look at this Christian singing about Chick-fil-A. Like, if this was your first song, you'd be done.
Well, that about wraps it up for this week's episode of the Going Off Podcast. Thank you very much for checking us out. If this happens to be the first time listening to our show, all of our old episodes are on SoundCloud and, more importantly, Spotify. Spotify is easily the preferred and suggested way to take in this show. Since all of our old episodes are there, you can listen to them all in order or catch up on ones you might have missed.
Hey.
Please subscribe to us on YouTube, because outside of the show, we both do our own regularly scheduled, regular content. You with the reviews. We've got Riff Combs and Riff Break over on our YouTube, so take the time and subscribe so you don't miss the other stuff we do when we're not reviewing great horror themed or subpar half-assed religious albums.
Dude, just listen to Lecrae. Like, honestly, that's what I gotta say at the end of this album.
RC is over on Station Head. He's doing the Station Head shows on a regular basis there. So you can check out what he's doing there. We both got Patrons you can help support us on, as well as our unified Ko-fi that is ko-fi.com/goinoff. That's where
review requests, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. If there's an album that you'd like to hear us talk about, head on over there. One-time $50 donation. Your request will be added to the queue, and we will we'll get to it. I feel like I gotta say that.
We're going through them. You guys see it. If you're following, you see the Patreon request albums. You know what I'm saying? We ain't slacking.
They happen! That about does it. And we thank you very, very, very much for checking us out. So until next week, for the Going Off Podcast, I'm Muse.
And I'm the Rap Critic. And Kanye, you're not making Christianity better. You're just making rap music worse.